All right, you guys. Sorry, having plugged something into the wrong port there. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you all smash the like button. Let's get this show started off right and strong. As you guys can see, beacon's on already for Air France. They're getting ready to roll out of here. Again, make sure you guys smash the like button. Let's get through them quickly. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, everybody. Hope you all have had a wonderful start to your week. Gotta wait on the American Eagles here to play their games, do their things, to get out of the way. It's a little breezier than I thought it was going to be here this afternoon. Not windy, but it is breezy. Nice Gulf Stream touching down. And you guys saw the Delta Sky Team livery as well as the start here. A couple things to get us started so far this afternoon. Gonna stay for the Iceland departure later this evening. Got family on board that one, headed back to Reykjavik. The American 777 is departing around that same time. So we should have some good set of departures later on in the evening. Of course, we've got Air France getting ready to leave now. As you guys can see, the beacon's on there as we catch that Gulf Stream headed up the hill. Traffic already picking up. Y'all be safe and happy. Yeah, we're leaving tomorrow night. We're leaving tomorrow evening after work. I'm going to try to get off work early tomorrow. Take care of some things at home before I leave, and then I should be on my merry way. So a little beach vacay this weekend. Nicer feeling up here than I thought it was going to be today. 81 degrees according to the car on the way up here to the airport. We got a Dreamliner today, by the way. For those of you just tuning in, it is a 787 Dreamliner for Air France today. Yeah, it's not been too bad. There are two American 777s. I don't know the status of either one of them. One of them is at the gate, the other one is over at the hard stand, so I imagine a mechanical issue for the one at the hard stand over there. But yes, two American 777s here this afternoon. I missed out on what happened with those, or with that 777 from yesterday. Let's get some flight radar going here as we've got the Delta Sky Team up and ready to go. That one's headed off to Los Angeles. Delta 462 off to Los Angeles. Got Spirit Wings coming in as our next arrival. Again, Air France is ready to go. Just waiting on the American Eagle team to get their plane out of the way. the Sky Team gonna lift off a little on the late side. Got Spirit Wings up next. Gotta make a quick adjustment here. There we go. Reroute some cable here for a second. I feel like it's tugging on our camera a little bit. So, Spirit Wings, I believe this one could be, this one's coming in from Newark, New Jersey. So again, a good afternoon, everybody. Make sure you all smash the like button. Let's get through these likes as quickly as possible. Let's try to get to 150 likes by the first half hour of the show. Try to get to 75 by 6:15. So a good look at the banana. Air France waiting on this one to be pulled out of the way. Thank you all for spamming the chat with the Spirit Wings emoji. Again, feel free to spam the chat with the emojis. American Airlines 1888 coming in from Dallas Fort Worth, 2 hours 20 minutes of flight time. It's going to be our next arrival. It's going to be a 737-800. Yeah, I would imagine so, since that 777's chilling over here. Again, I don't have any status on it. I don't know what the deal is with it, but it is hanging out in front of the observations tower. If any of you guys are local, come out, snag your pictures of the 777, but it is right directly in front of it. So, American Airlines 1888, our next arrival, 737-800. 2 hours 22 minutes of flight time. Perfect touchdown for the 737. Got Iceland in the LR again tonight, the A321 Neo LR. Again, I've got family flying out on that LR this evening to Reykjavik. I've already been in contact with them. They're going to shine the light for us. Now, I'm hoping that we see Iceland park right where Air France is, due to the fact that there is no Aeromexico this evening. No 737 from Cancun this evening, so we've got United 1322 coming in from Washington Dulles. That one arriving in just 3 minutes. That's going to be a 737-900. This has got to be the oddest flight, because they send anything for this. We've seen the A320, A321, 737-700. Now we're seeing the 737-900. I think we've even seen it as a MAX once or twice. But this flight right here just gets whatever they want to throw at it, right? So again, a very odd flight. All right, we're up to 66 likes already. We've got 5 minutes left to get to 75 likes. Again, thank you all for smashing the like button and getting those out there. Whoops. So again, Air France, getting ready to go, just waiting on this American Eagle to move. Following United from Dulles, we've got Republic Airways 4402 coming in from Chicago. That's going to be at E175LR. So again, the 777 and Iceland due to go out around the same time, which means we'll probably, more than likely, stay for that UPS departure around 9:15. That'll be our last departure of the evening. UPS off to Louisville, Kentucky around 9:15, 9:17. I believe that'll be the 767. No, it'll be the A300 tonight. I wish it was the 767. Got an American Airlines 737 headed out to the end of 23 right here. And again, Air France is a Dreamliner. As you can see, they're finally getting the American Eagle on the move. So again, good evening. I've got to check one more thing here behind the scenes. I forgot to check how many subscribers we had to start the show. 10,138 as of right now. Hey, we did it. We did it. We got to 77 likes before 6:15. Thank you all for getting those likes in. Again, we're trying to make it to 150 by the bottom of the hour. So if you haven't done so yet, please do so. Air France in that Dreamliner. Getting ready to roll out now. Start pushing back as soon as the little baggage cart decides to get out of the way. So a good look at the Dreamliner this evening. Here comes United 1322 from DC, that's 7379. Little mismatched cowling there for the United. Got a little more construction happening over here at the end of Terminal 2, getting ready, or Terminal 1, getting ready to start working on the road here. So we have that one coming in from Chicago up next. the Republic Airways. Got an exec jet on final. This one, a private owner coming in from Charlotte, 29 minutes, Cessna Citation 3. Coming in 2-3 left. We'll skip out on that, given that our Dreamliner is on the move. So again, good evening, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Happy Wednesday. We're over the hump. I got about a half day left tomorrow. I'm only going to work half the day. Try to anyway. Hopefully nothing ruins that plan, so I can roll to a little needed vacation. See if we can grab that Cessna's touchdown here. So this one coming up from Charlotte. Buttery smooth touchdown for the Citation 3. I haven't even looked over here. Look, we've got a Cessna Cargo Master over here. Sky 5 sitting over there. ABC 11 was out and about a little while ago. I caught them coming in just before we started the show. Looks like that American might be ready for departure. Let's find out where you're headed, shall we? American 3045 off to Miami. And again, good evening, everyone. Again, trying to reach 150 by the bottom of the hour. So if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please do so. Again, that helps the channel a ton. The faster we get those likes in, the better. Helps the channel grow. Off to Miami with that 737. Little Dreamliner action. Saw Lufthansa's departure right as I was pulling in. I was out on Aviation Parkway, or getting onto Aviation Parkway off the exit there. Lufthansa taking off back to Frankfurt. Again, that's a 7-day flight now. Not sure exactly what time American got here. I know, again, we talked about it the other day. American keeping a late flight for right now. All right, enjoy the Dreamliner. No, no ATC tonight. My goofy self forgot the thing this morning. Forgot my radio. I looked right at it too and walked right out of the house without it. At least I remembered to charge it. Taking it in and charging it in at work, but I took it in last night like a goof. Good looking exec jet there. All right. Again, as we get good evening, Alan Lee. Again, good evening, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in as we got the Air France Dreamliner on the move. So now finally Air France is back on their normal schedule, by the way. Leaving around 6:30. There's a short period there where the United States and Europe, we don't change time at the same time. So there's like a 2-week period there where Air France has a little bit of a weird schedule. They leave around 7:30 p.m. instead of 6:30. Again, they are finally back on the regular schedule. Again, a couple more minutes here for the bottom of the hour. Make sure if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please do so. Also, if you guys, your internet allows, make sure you guys are tuned in 4K. Streaming to you tonight in 4K. Again, trying to get to 150 likes before the bottom of the hour. Let's see, where are we at right now? We're at 92 likes. So, in just about 4 minutes. So again, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please do so. Again, I'm trying to get to 150 likes before the bottom of the hour. And as you guys can see, there is another 777 sitting here. London's flight was canceled last night from what I understand. Kind of windy, a little bit of a breeze going on. You can see the flags there on the lower right portion of your screen. Kind of kicking around. We'll see how that works out for the arrivals later this evening. Yeah, if it's going to go off to Charlotte, it'll be an empty flight. All right, enjoy the Dreamliner departure back to Paris. For a heavy, that sure is quiet. Those Dreamliners. Love the wing flex on the Dreamliner. Love how the wing tips go above the fuselage. I'd like to fly on a Dreamliner one of these days. One day. Again, I'd rather fly on the A350-1000, or even a 900. But I still wouldn't mind flying on a Dreamliner either. So we do have another heavy here in just a little while. The FedEx 767, have they left yet? Yes, there they are. Hey, we got a Sun Country coming. Perfect, since Sun Country is the thumbnail for today's show. Sun Country 8611 coming in from Portland. All the way from Portland, Oregon. 48 minutes for that 7378. Our 76 coming from Memphis, FedEx 785. That one arriving in just 23 minutes. Got a couple of arrivals in between though. Next arrival is going to be Republic Airways 4704 coming in from LaGuardia. That one's about 6 minutes out. As you see the A321 on the way out, that one is more than likely off to Charlotte. American 1894, that A321 is, in fact, off to the Queen City of Charlotte. That's Southwest coming up in about 10 minutes. Southwest 1109 coming in from Nashville. That's going to be a MAX 8 this evening. Air France turned left tonight instead of to the right. Normally they go to the right and loop around. Tonight, looking like they went left. Also got another American coming in, American Airlines 2867 coming in from Miami. That one in 9 minutes. So I'm hearing a lot of bells. What do we got going on the ground here? Again, that one out to Charlotte, moving quite slowly. Looks like we've got an American Eagle. E175, is that the... Are they taking that one out or no? No, gate pulling up to that. We've got a Delta A320 Getting ready for departure. I would assume this one off to Minneapolis. What do you guys think? Oh, off to Detroit. Delta 1578 off to Detroit for this one. So a couple of Airbus on the way out. Alright, so we're at the bottom of the hour. Did we make it to 150? I don't think we did. Made it to 109 likes at the bottom of the hour. So thank you guys. Almost. We almost made it. Good look at that one headed off to Detroit there. Had a little bit of progress made on the runway, it looked like. I shouldn't say on the runway itself, but out towards Aviation Parkway, it looked like they laid some hay. Like they're trying to get some grass to grow out there, so maybe they're already done forming that portion of the runway, which is technically not the runway, it's just the hill that runs up to it. But still, tons and tons of work going on around the airport to get this new runway finished. We need this spot right here. Not sure how deep into the trees that sits, but that right there would be perfect as a spotter's location, in my opinion. It's back just far enough from the current runway. I like it. Yeah, that's what I figured. 777 off last night. Again, no London flight last night. Should have been out here both Monday and Tuesday, but man, tired coming off of the long week. A good I'm gonna say 3 weeks. Not a whole lot of slowing down and stopping. 2 weekends right in a row, back to back. The weekend in Charlotte, and then of course the weekend last weekend working. Monday I think would have probably been a good evening too, because it was a little on the windy side. Monday evening. Hopefully this trip to the beach will rejuvenate your host. Again, no show this weekend, as I will be at the beach starting tomorrow night. Smooth touchdown for the E-175. Should have that MAX 8 coming up in just a few minutes. Coming in from Nashville. Got a United on the move. It looks like it's going to be a MAX. Got our Delta off to Detroit, that A320. We're not currently up on flight radar. American and Southwest look like they might try to pull off a parallel landing here. I don't think that's going to work out. I think American's going to have the advantage. They're going a little faster. Again, we got American from Miami coming up. Nice departure for the A320. So we've got several more headed out for departure. That American Airlines headed to Charlotte, still sitting out there, along with United, American Eagle, and a Delta CRJ. Looks like we got another one coming on its way out. It looks like there might actually be a couple more on the... Now that one's the one that just landed. I don't know why they made him go all the way down. Weird that they made him go not full length, but pretty close. I don't know that it was thunderstorms. I doubt it. I didn't have any thunderstorms here, or at my house, so it was actually really nice yesterday after I got off work. So we get an American from Miami. Going to be our next arrival, and that's going to be followed by the Southwest MAX 8 from Nashville. Getting a little breezy here. Hey, Brian Lloyd. All right, Southwest up next. That Max. Oh, we're gonna miss the touchdown. Looks like we got United up next. We'll get you that flight info in just a moment as they are already on the move. They're Max. I imagine they're off to either Denver or SFO. Find out in a moment. The American Eagle up next. United 1769 is in fact headed off to SFO. That's 737 at Max 9. Next departure, Republic Airways 4624. That one off to DCA. So this one here off to Washington via Reagan. Could be our next departure. Will this Delta head to the holding pin? It is, in fact, headed to the pin per minute. We've got Southwest 452 off to St. Louis. We'll see that one in just a minute. We've got Delta 1097 coming in from Atlanta, 737-900. Be our next arrival for this side. Yeah, if it goes out tonight, chances are it will be empty. I don't think they won't even have to send it over to the gates or anything. Hold on. Southwest off to St. Louis. waiting on this one to get off to Charlotte. Got a few minutes here before that one. Next arrival is going to be that FedEx 785 coming in from Memphis, Tennessee. That 767 300 freighter will be our next arrival. This. Dang it, I missed it. Just missed it. Missed him turning around right there. Wanted to get in the engine cowling of the Max 8. So the A321 off to Charlotte. American 1904, I believe. CRJ up next. See if we can get a little info on the CRJ. Got a Spirit Airlines coming in. Spirit Wings 1760 from Fort Lauderdale. That one arriving in 3 minutes. They're on the downwind at the moment. Endeavor 5222. This one off to Newark, New Jersey. So the Delta Connection CRJ off to Jersey. And we've got an American 737. Where is this one off to? It's not up on flight radar yet. I'll give you the info on that one in just a minute, but interesting. Probably so, Kevin. Probably flying somebody home. We've seen that a couple times here on the show, where they'll fly a soldier home or something like that. FedEx 767 is up next. Gonna hang out with Southwest here. It's a good shot of this Southwest. Again, our next heavy arrival going to be that FedEx 785 from Memphis. 135 likes. Thank you all for smashing the like button. Continue to do so. Enjoy the 767 arrival. We got Spirit Wings up next for the next arrival. We've got a departure off in the distance over there, getting ready to leave. 23 right. We're going to stick with Spirit Wings. Delta 737 off this side. Let's find out. I think they're headed to Atlanta. Delta 2600 off to Atlanta, Georgia. Good shot of Spirit Wings. Thank you all for spamming that chat there with FedEx and the Spirit Wings emoji. Kevin with a 99-cent super chat. Thank you so much, Kevin. Greatly appreciate that. So we've got the 767, we've had the Dreamliner, we've got two 777s, as you can see the tail there, almost center of your screen for the 777. This one, I assume, going back to Charlotte sometime tonight, maybe probably tomorrow morning. Had Lufthansa today, but we weren't on the air for Lufthansa, but I did capture or see Lufthansa leaving as I was pulling into the airport. Another A330 venture. 140 likes. Thank you all for smashing the like button. Keep those likes coming. Again, we're waiting on Iceland. Iceland's probably not going to be our last departure, but we're probably going to try to stay for that A300 departure later this evening for UPS. I've got family on the flight to Reykjavik tonight, so we'll have a shine the flashlight moment. NetJets coming in from Frederick. Going to be our next arrival. This is going to be an Embraer Phenom 300E. Coming in at 23 left. Getting this one from Frederick. So we've got that Delta in the pin. Now we've got a Southwest sitting in the holding pin at the moment as well. Yeah, so one of them stayed overnight. This one over here did not leave yesterday, that American 777. So the other one, there's a chance that we'll see both 777 departures, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. The other one will go back to Charlotte, and of course our normal one back to London. That one's scheduled for 8:30 p.m. this evening. So again, if you guys missed it on Sunday, we talked about the American 777 and not changing time like they normally do every year. This year, American choosing to stick with a later arrival and departure time from London this year. Looks like we got an American Eagle out at the end of the runway ready for their departure. Where are we off to? This one's off to Philadelphia. Republic Airways 4411 off to Philadelphia. All right, 7 o'clock. Thank you guys for joining us in the first hour. Let's see, did we hit 150 in the first hour? We did. So thank you all for that. Again, if you guys' internet allows, make sure you guys are watching in 4K. Also, if you guys are new, subscribe to the channel. Getting those likes and subscribes are just free ways to help the channel. You can also join memberships if you'd like our emojis there. Trying to get everybody to use them more often so we can show off the emojis for the members. Departure of the Philadelphia flight. A couple of E175s hanging out. We've got a Southwest up top over here, awaiting their departure. A lot of E175s floating around here. How many of them can we fit in one shot? Goodness, 3 of them. 4, technically 4. If you look at the one on the left bottom corner of your screen. A lot of American Eagle E175s this evening. Southwest Max. Again, this one's not up on radar just yet. We'll get you that info for this one in just a minute. Still not up there. We do have that Sun Country coming in just a few minutes, about 18 minutes for Sun Country. We've got one coming up from Charlotte, American 1904. Come on, Southwest, pop up. There you are. Southwest 154 off to Chicago Midway. That 737 MAX 8 off to Mattman's neck of the woods. So we got some departures coming at you guys here shortly. So we got a 737 working its way out in front of these two. Another Southwest on the move as well. So we're going to get some 737 departures here. That one there off to Dallas, Fort Worth. American Airlines 771. Southwest off to Houston. Southwest 483 off to Houston. So this one here. Southwest doing Southwest things and in a hurry. Again, this one off to Houston, Texas. We got an American Eagle out here off to Chicago, I think. And then the American off to Dallas, Fort Worth. Yes, Republic Airways 4402 off to Chicago. That's the one sitting right almost center screen there. Gonna be our next departure. Joshua, good evening. So again, this one off to Chicago. Got a Delta on the move, the one that was in the holding pen there for a little bit. Sat there for about 20 minutes or so. 30 tops. An A320. I feel like that's going to head to Tampa or Orlando. Find out in a minute. Delta on the way. Off to MCO, Delta 1319. Nice. Had a nice C-130 surprise. I know we haven't had a C-130 in a while here. We had a pair of them doing touch and goes one evening here. It was quite interesting, especially watching them on very, very short final. All right, this one off to DFW. Seven 800. Gonna leave us heavy, I think. All right, next arrival is going to be Endeavor 5150 from JFK. Delta Connection CRJ. Then we're going to have this American from Charlotte, American 1904, an A321-200. And then we're going to have that Sun Country arrival. And that is going to be in the Tide Pod livery. The same livery you guys saw tonight on the thumbnail of today's show. All right, Delta 1319 off to MCO, the House of Mouse. Off to Orlando. That one sat a few minutes in the holding pen over here, along with this Southwest. Delta Connection. Again, this one coming in from JFK. Looking at Endeavor 5150. 1 hour 31 minutes. By the way, Sun Country doing a little bit of something odd, coming in from Portland, Oregon. It's something we definitely never see. Anybody from Portland. Speaking of new flights, by the way, Aer Lingus, one we're excited about right this month. Also, the Alaska Airlines to San Diego flight starts this month as well. So we'll have 2 Alaska destinations from here. Seattle and San Diego. Touchdown for the CRJ. American 1904 going to be our next arrival. That one coming in from Charlotte. Again, that A321 up next. Two for one shot there. That should be Sun Country right behind this one. About 30 minutes of flight time for the A321. Smooth touchdown for the A321, just kissing the pavement. Now, Sun Country, what side are we going to? Find out in just a minute. What do we got happening over here? Tour bus action. I wonder if that might be waiting for Sun Country. Not really sure. Hey, John Southwell. So again, good evening everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Got something we don't normally see. Sun Country from Portland, Oregon. Got an exec jet departure. That bus go? Oh, I see it now. So the bus is hanging out in front of front of the big hangars. Hey, Iceland's coming. Again, we've got family leaving on this flight tonight back to Reykjavik, so expect us to be here till 9 o'clock or more. Christopher Brown, good evening. Again, good evening everybody. Thank you all. Happy Wednesday to everyone. Thank you all for smashing the like button, of course. If you guys haven't done that yet, please do so. Also, if you guys have the ability to watch the 4K, please do so as well. Subscribe if you guys are new. Again, a couple of free ways to help the channel. Also have those emojis for our members if you guys would like to join the memberships. Dang, I don't have a Sun Country emoji, do we? I had one made. Could very well be. Again, smashing the like button, like I've said before, for those of us just getting here, new to the channel, smashing the like button really helps the channel grow. YouTube's algorithm picks that up, enjoys it. Ooh, we got an A220 off to Minneapolis for Delta Airlines. 2 more heavy departures this evening as well. The A300 for UPS at 9:15 and the American 777 at 8:30-ish. So the American to London and Iceland should push back around the same time. Again, we should get that flashlight moment this evening. Again, we've got family on Iceland to Reykjavik. Nice bit of wing flex for the Sun Country. So, with those buses sitting over there, that's a good possibility that Sun Country may end up going over to the GA ramp if it is a sports team. Should be no issues there. Again, the Tide Pod touching down there. 4 hours, hold on. 4 hours, 29 minutes of flight time. Again, that one coming all the way from Portland, Oregon. Got our first FedEx feeder coming up from New Bern, arriving in 11 minutes at ATR 72600F. Flight time so far 20 minutes. So our bigger of the two ATRs. And of course Iceland from Reykjavik. Going to be our nice next arrival as we have a private something or other touchdown. Speaking of which, little Piper hanging out over here. One of the flight school aircraft. Now we just need to find out where Sun Country's headed. And I don't know what the deal is with Southwest here. We've got that Delta A220 up next for departure. I believe this one off to Minneapolis. Should be an A220-100. Give you the flight info and specs on that one in just a moment. Run long tonight. Another Delta A220. Here comes Sun Country. Delta 1474 was in fact off to Minneapolis. This A220 making all the fuss. Delta 2393 off to Boston, Massachusetts. Going to be our next departure. Again, Sun Country off to the GA ramp. So it could be the sports charter right there. Again, 4 hours, 30 minutes for Sun Country. Miss Carolina gifted out 1 Carolina Aviation membership. Congratulations to that gifted member. 9 likes to 200. Thank you all for smashing the like button. Continue to do that. Again, a long evening here. Here we go. It's not an episode of this show without some wee-woos. Little fire truck action. I'm really hoping that Iceland goes right here to 24 tonight. Family sitting on the left side of the airplane. And again, it is the A321 Neo LR tonight. It's coming in minty fresh too, I believe. Republic Airways 4518 off to LaGuardia. Taxiing out there, they're in front of the hard stand. FedEx feeder is going to be up next. I believe it will land at 23 right this evening. So again, good evening everyone. Oh, Ops is racing off too. Let's find out. Probably the gate. Bring in an ambulance. Find out in a minute. We'll go over and sit by the gate and wait for the ambulance to make its way over. As you can see the fire truck there on the left-hand side of your screen. Ops to the gate. He'll back in there. We've seen him do this so many times. It backs into the spot, waits for the ambulance to show up, and they open the gate. The ambulance comes right in and follows him to the gate. Hopefully, again, if Iceland is going to that gate, hopefully that won't affect its arrival to the gate. But we've got our props up next. The FedEx ATR from New Bern. Coming in nose down. Pitching it in pretty steep. Southwest getting out of the holding pen. believe ICE 821 is our next arrival. Coming in from Reykjavik. 6 hours, 27 minutes of flight time. It says 2 minutes. They're definitely closer than that. Here comes that ambulance we were talking about. Into the gates, in through. Again, we're hoping to see it on C-24 tonight. Family's on the left side of the plane. Got a departure. Southwest finally getting to move on after sitting in the holding box for a while. That ambulance. And Iceland from Reykjavik. Again, this is an LR, an A321 LR tonight. Can't be any I mean, obviously the layout of the aircraft and the quality of the product can be different, but really flying a narrow body like this from Iceland, you know, we see the 737 all the time. So I can't imagine that would be too different. I don't know though. Me personally, I don't know that I could handle that long of a flight on a narrow body. In economy class. Business class, I could probably handle it. They might be headed inside for someone. Here comes the big one. You know, I've never noticed that. The driver sits right in the center of those things. Where did Iceland go anyway? They went on down, didn't they? So Iceland will be back in a minute. Not sure what's happening here. Yeah, I guess I never realized that they sit right dead center of those. It's kind of cool. That's got to be really weird, though, sitting right dead center of something like that. I mean, obviously you're not driving on the road, but still, sitting right dead center of something, especially something that big. Too, if it were something small, probably wouldn't be a big issue. It does look like Iceland's going to go to the other side. I don't see anybody coming out to greet Iceland at the moment. No wing walkers. Of course, all the emergency vehicles are kind of in the way. of that, but I have a feeling Iceland is going to be over on the other side. As a matter of fact, they look like they're about to pull in. Find out in a second. Again, like I said, I have a family on board Iceland tonight, back to Reykjavik. Last plane of the evening is going to be that UPS A300. We've got the flight to Reykjavik scheduled for 8:30, as well as the American 777 back to London Heathrow at 8:30. So hopefully those two will get off the ground around the same time. So I'm waiting to see if Iceland's going to pop out or not. It doesn't look like. There they are. Let's see, are they turning? They are. They're turning right into the gate. Dang. I was really hoping to see Iceland come around here to 24. A little Spirit Airlines action. This one back to Newark, New Jersey. Minion Airways. Yeah, so Iceland finally finishing up their pulling into the gate. Hey, Larry, good evening. Again, good evening, everybody. Sun Country sitting over here. I haven't really seen anybody get off the plane, but they may have gotten off already and done their thing. We've been sticking around and sticking with the emergency vehicles over here on Terminal 2 side. Probably an issue with a guest, I would assume. So they run up the stairs there and do what they got to do, as opposed to get them as close to the patient as possible, as opposed to running them through the front door and trying to get them through TSA and all that type of deal. Every once in a while you'll see them pull up to the front though, but those are usually for folks pre-TSA. Got to get the camera ready for nighttime. Go make a quick change. Got our second ATR off the ground there in Wilmington. Mountain Air Cargo 7508 coming in from Wilmington. Got Endeavor 5055 coming in 20 minutes. These little lulls during the week. Ooh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Forget everything else. Everything else does not matter. This is what I've been waiting for right here. Focus, dude, focus. That's what we've been waiting for. I was hoping we were going to see the moon tonight. Still just hanging out over there, that American 777 on the hard stand. Again, we're looking at about another hour before the departure of the American 777 to London. Again, I don't know about the one that didn't make it out last night. It is supposed to be going to Charlotte later this evening. That is absolutely stunning, that moon shot. Thank you so much, Alex. I appreciate that. Yeah, if I could be on every day, I definitely would. I would enjoy being on every day. Or every 3 or 4 days. Got a departure, it looks like a CRJ coming up, but that moon coming up, it's getting crispier and more beautiful. The camera doesn't do what I'm seeing justice. It's absolutely beautiful. That moon this evening. All right, we got this departure. Maybe it's not a CRJ. I think this is our A220. We'll head back to the moon in just a minute. Our A220 off to Boston. Picking a gorgeous time to leave. Look at how big that is in comparison. Like I'm telling you, it's kind of dim to my eyes, but that is a gorgeous, gorgeous moon. This was one thing that I was really, really excited about tonight, by the way, was to be able to see the moon. This never looks as good as I'd like it to. Spirit Airlines to Newark, still sitting over there waiting. Again, we had that last departure. We'll find out where that one was headed. Oh, that was headed off to Boston. That's Delta 2393 off to Boston, Massachusetts. That A220-300. We've got a couple more headed out for departure. Looks like we've got an A321 headed back to Charlotte. Possibly. United went away, or somebody went away. No, American Airlines 2867 737-800. Why does that look like an A321? It is getting dark. So that one off to Miami. The emergency vehicles are still hanging out down here. No movement out of any of them. We've got our next departure. That's going to be United Express. This one here, I believe, to Newark, New Jersey. Could possibly be to Dulles, but we did have that 737-900 come in from DC earlier. There's some clouds over there with the moon now. Find out where that one's headed in just a moment. Cloud coverage there for the moon. All right, United headed off to Newark, New Jersey. Speaking of United, we've got another one getting ready to go. United 2642 off to Washington Dulles. That 737-900 getting ready for departure. I don't know if that. So there are two 777s here tonight, one to London, and I assume the other one's going to be off to Charlotte if they get it moving. I don't think it's going to go tonight. It'll probably be sometime tomorrow, I would assume. Again, emergency vehicles still just hanging out down there at the gate. Again, probably tending to a passenger inside of Terminal 2. We've got our 737 out at the end of the runway. They're getting ready to go already back to Miami. So again, good evening everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. We've got about another 30 minutes or so with the American to London, about 8:30-ish. Did I say 30 minutes? About 45 minutes for that London flight. Scheduled departure 8:30 p.m. for the 777. And of course, Iceland. And all of the 737s this evening, they're all leaving quite heavy. Getting that one back to Miami. Got United coming around here shortly off to DC. Spirit Airlines still sitting over there. They're supposed to be going back to Newark, New Jersey. The banana yet to move. Nice warm evening this evening, thank goodness. Couldn't have asked for better weather. So there's an ambulance on scene. The ambulance is just beyond our view. So the EMS rolled in. They're closer to the gate, I believe. But you got the two fire trucks sitting down there along with the EMS. they're supposed to board at 7:40. Man, that's quick. There's no way. Plane just arrived at the gate. EMS is waiting. So maybe... Alright, so I got family inside the airport, and it says they're waiting at their gate with a stretcher. So there's somebody on board that Iceland flight with an issue, possibly. So they come all the way over here to stay out of the way of other aircraft, I assume. But again, like I said, I've got family inside, so they're saying that the EMS is at that gate. Hey, we got some new subscribers tonight. We started the night with 10,138. We're up to 10,151. We still got to do something to celebrate 10K. Not exactly sure what we're going to do for that. Got to make some decisions here soon. Call it our 10K celebration. But got to figure out what we're going to do for that one. Let's take a peek at flight radar here again. We've got several minutes here before anybody decides to get a move on here. We've got Endeavor 5055 from LaGuardia coming in next. We have that United still on the way out to Dulles. Boy, the moon didn't stay pink for long, did it? Sucker is huge though tonight. Nice bright orange. So they've got a passenger inside that's having an issue, I assume. So I've got family in the terminal. They said they're at one of the gates in there. Should go to JFK or Louisville. Louisville would be nice. JFK, I don't know if I want to drive to New York. I'd be more willing to drive to Louisville than I would be to drive to JFK. Especially since the TWA is outrageously expensive. Here comes our flight from Dulles, or to Dulles, the 7379. This one probably going to lose it too. They all seem to be leaving a bit heavy this evening. Make an adjustment to this really quick. See if I can get it to stop that. Back to the moon. Absolute fantastic look. Yeah, I would absolutely love to go to the TWA hotel, but carting up batteries and all the things up there, plus you've got all the big folks that go to the TWA hotel and all that, and chances are the TWA hotel is going to be like, no, you're not going to bring enough publicity. So Going to the TWA and doing a show, I don't know about all that, but I would definitely go up there as a weekend type deal. We could stream from the hotel room. Wouldn't be that big of a deal. Be kind of cool if we got a terminal facing room. Would I love to stream from the pool? Absolutely. Go to the observation deck area before. Oh, you're very, very welcome. I'm glad I'm able to do these shows for the folks that are unable to make it back out to the airport. We have several folks who send messages and say thank you in message form as well as the comments section. So to all of you that I bring joy to, thank you all for tuning in to the show. Glad I can bring some joy to people. It's part of why I enjoy doing this show so much. Again, Endeavor 5055 from LaGuardia. This one, our next arrival, CRJ 900LR. Yeah, Miss Carolina's letting y'all know that I do have a trip coming up. I haven't heard anything officially from the dealership for work yet, but I saw today that I was accepted to school for the beginning of May, so we'll see. They haven't come to me yet about it. So it's not official until I have that plane ticket in my hand. I don't know how much of that I'll be able to do. I'll probably be flying with a coworker or something. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to try to jump the gun on anything yet. They've been sending us in pairs lately to school. And I honestly don't even know where school is right now. It could be Dallas, it could be Miami, it could be Atlanta. Chances are it's going to be Atlanta though, sadly. I'd much rather go to Miami. That I might pay the extra coin for myself to take as much equipment as I can. Try to buy a bunch of extra little batteries and take some equipment. But again, if I'm going with a coworker, they only rent one car, so I don't know. One of the fire trucks is on the move. Again, there is an EMS ambulance out there as well, along with the fire trucks. It was kind of nice when we did that one day. We were walking around the terminal and doing a live show before we flew off to Orlando. You guys can check out that previous stream. It was kind of fun. It was something different, that's for sure. It wasn't our normal, in our normal realm. But I found it to be kind of fun to be able to walk around. Was that a duck? That was a duck. Sorry. Duck. So the fire truck coming out as well as the other fire truck SUV. It's going to be loud here for a second as they make their way down to the lower level. They may be off to Terminal 1. Oh, they got more rolling in. What is this all about? Another ambulance coming. So lots of drama tonight. Looks like. Lots and lots of drama this evening. So you still see this one hanging out over here. So again, hopefully you all are enjoying this evening's stream. A little slow right now, not a big deal. Got plenty of emergency vehicles to keep us occupied at the moment. The moon is looking fantastic. So between the moon and all the emergency equipment tonight, we've got quite an exciting 20 or 30 minutes here. Have a good evening, Dave. Hey, Will, good evening. So yeah, the beginning of May, if I'm not able to do any kind of, so that really, I don't know, I'm not going to say too much, but that's a pretty big weekend for us as far as not a show. I don't know. I have absolutely no clue what we're doing. But anyway, that's a pretty important week in the month of May that they're going to send me to school, and then like the weekend, the following weekend, the 9th and 10th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, whatever it is pretty important. On text messages as well. Like I said, I've got family in there. Had a lady, hold on. Boy, my phone piles up with notifications while I'm doing the show. My phone is wide open, but I don't check it throughout the show. And boy, howdy, do I have a lot of notifications. But again, like I said, we've got family inside the airport, inside the terminal there. It has nothing to do with them. They've been texting us back and forth here. Again, they're leaving on the Reykjavik flight tonight, the A321LR. And then, like I said, the A300 for UPS will be our last departure. The American 777 is still here, headed to London. We do have another 777 here, but I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. It could be way, way late tonight before it leaves. It does have some lights on, though. I don't know if they've been on all day or all night. You know, they tend to leave lights on, but there are a couple. Looks like the APU is running on that 777, so there is a chance that we get 2 777 departures this evening. We'll just have to wait and see. This one right here, though, this one will go back to Charlotte, I believe. This one did not make it out yesterday. I would assume it was a maintenance issue of some sort. So they canceled the flight yesterday from what I understand, but as you can see, the APU is running on that 777. There's a possibility that it leaves to Charlotte. We don't know yet. I haven't seen anything to confirm that. So again, if you guys would, let's get another like push going here. Double and triple check to see if you guys have smashed the like button. If you haven't, please do so. We're up to 261 likes. If we can make it to 300 likes tonight, that would be absolutely stellar. Man, where'd everybody go? Last check there was like 213, then I looked again and it was like 140. Boy, that moon's gonna be bright tonight, headed home. A little touchdown over here, 2-3 right. Gonna start getting some arrivals here before too long. Did Spirit Wings move down here to the holding pen? So Spirit Airlines coming off the taxiway and coming to the box. All right, Zoe, have a wonderful evening. Good to see you this evening. So Spirit Wings hanging out. Oops. FedEx ATR is on final, our second of two. Mountain Air Cargo 7508. This one, the ATR 42 300. Again, this one from Wilmington. We've got Delta 29 at 92 and A319 coming up from Miami here shortly. That last departure was off to JFK, Republic Airways at 4804. So again, we're waiting on a whole host of departures. United 488 coming in from SFO in the next 20 minutes or so. As I zoom out a little bit, we've got Frontier coming from Atlanta. Nope, that one came into Atlanta. I'm so confused. 2 hours and 43. Yeah, I don't know. Looks like they're getting ready to head back to the fire station. Here comes the ATR. They're gonna trick us a little bit this evening. Normally they're 2-3 left. Tonight, coming in at 2-3 right. So we're 2 for 2 on the right side tonight for the ATRs. So again, this one the second and also the smaller of the two ATRs. This one the 42F. The other one is the 72-600. So this one here will make its way back down to the FedEx ramp. Still not sure what the deal is with Spirit. They've been waiting about 30 minutes now or so. I was just thinking, they are kind of working at night. I was going to say, I wonder why they're not working at night here like they do in Charlotte on the runway. Maybe noise ordinances, but I wouldn't think they'd be that close. Looks like we've got an American pushing back. That might be our A321 back to Charlotte. American 777 still sitting over here on the hard stand with the APU running. A couple lights on. Spirit Airlines hanging out over here in the box. Yeah, Will, we've got some new emojis. FedEx, UPS, Aeromexico, and the Iceland, also the tower. We've got some more to come. Hopefully, I gotta talk to Scott once again about, he may have sent it to me and I just haven't looked, about our Aer Lingus livery. We've got about 2 weeks left for that one. 2.5 weeks before we need that Aer Lingus emoji. I'll probably have to end up switching one out unless we can get a really good membership gifting train going, because I think we need about 40-ish, plus or minus 40 new members in order to be able to add another one to our roster there. So again, if you guys would like to join the memberships, please feel free to do so. Those emojis are for you guys. Again, we do a lot of membership gifting. Hey, speaking of which, today's the 1st, isn't it? Duh. Hold on. You know what your host completely forgot to do? Today is the 1st. So you all know what that means. Let's see, how many likes are we at? We're at 271 likes. So, if we can get to 300, well, I'm going to do it anyway, I guess. Never mind. I was going to say, if we get to 300 likes, I'll gift out our memberships. But I'm going to gift them out anyway. I always give them out on the 1st. Or the first closest day to the 1st. There you go. Congratulations, everybody, on the memberships. Again, smash the like button if you guys haven't. I'd like to at least get to 300 this evening before the end of the show. Again, we've got about an hour left in today's show. So again, if you guys haven't smashed it yet, please do so. Gonna have that flashlight moment in just a few minutes. Hopefully they don't get delayed this evening. Although I do have the inside story on whether or not they're going to be delayed or not, since I do have family on board. This is our A321 getting ready to head back to Charlotte. Nice. I love a good free cookie. Your host will never turn down a cookie. Or brownies. I am a huge sucker for brownies. So, you can see the American over there. I wish I could see a little bit more of it to know if it's going to go anytime soon. I'm not going to wait for it by any stretch of the imagination. Again, the UPS is going to be our last departure tonight. Again, I'm going to try to work a half a day tomorrow, but got all that traveling to do. It's going to be like 10 o'clock before I even get down to the beach tomorrow night. Man. So again, there is those 5 memberships. Maybe free Guinness for the first Aer Lingus flight. I know, I'm sure it's going to be a big, huge party up here. I'm sure there's going to be a massive amount of folks coming up here on that Monday the 13th for the arrival of Aer Lingus, which we're going to be here. Again, I'm going to leave early that day as well, get set up, but I'm not going to go live before our normal time on a Monday. If we, so we'll be live around 6 p.m. Monday, April the 13th for that Aer Lingus arrival. We'll be here for that arrival as well as the departure of that. Got a couple breeze on the way. We haven't mentioned breeze at all. We've got one breeze. We've got Delta 2922 from Miami, that A319 traveling an hour and 40 minutes. They're getting ready to be here in just a moment. Didn't see an Alaska departure tonight either, did we? Miss Carolina gifting out a second membership tonight. Thank you to her. Congratulations to Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, we got it while it was still pink, Vaughn. It's absolutely gorgeous here. I can't see it right now, but it turned orange shortly after it came up. Big and pink, beautiful. Beautiful full moon tonight. We'll probably see it again before we end the show, if it can clear this section of the parking garage. So hopefully it will before we end the evening. Whoa, somebody gifting out Carolina Aviation memberships. That is Ramona. Ramona's in Atlanta, by the way, this weekend. Ramona Aviation gifting out 10 Carolina Aviation memberships. Thank you so much, Ramona Aviation. Again, make sure you guys go and check her out. here on YouTube as well as Instagram. A really good friend of ours here on the channel. So thank you to Ramona Aviation. Congratulations to everyone who was gifted a membership. She also has stickers and things as well, by the way. I got one of them on my laptop along with mine. So here's our A319 from Miami. Sun Country looks like they're on the move. We saw Sun Country come in earlier from Portland. They're on the move. Again, for everybody who's been gifted those 17 memberships tonight, feel free to use the emojis when you see your favorite airline. I don't know anything about a 737 for Iceland, but we do have the A321LR, the Neo LR. Again, I've got family on board that one, headed back to Reykjavik tonight, but I don't know anything about any other Icelands here. We've got American 1904 off to Charlotte. Got another Spirit coming our way to Fort Lauderdale. The A321 here. There's Spirit Airlines off to Fort Lauderdale. Again, we've got that A321 coming at us. 23 right. As Spirit Wings makes their way to 23 left. Comes our departure. I can't hold on to it right there for some reason this evening. Spirit Airlines off to Fort Lauderdale. So we have a diversion coming in from Iceland at 737. Nice, we'll see that one in just a little bit then. How close is it, do you know? So we get Sun Country hanging out at the end of the runway there. Let's find out where they're headed back to. I would assume they're headed back to Minneapolis. There for Sun Country. So just crossed into North Carolina, perfect. So a little double Iceland action this evening. Wonder why they're diverting from Baltimore. I don't know if there's any weather. I didn't check the weather today because the weather here is absolutely fantastic, as you guys can see. Absolutely amazing evening to be standing and hanging out outside. As a matter of fact, I really enjoy being up here on nights like this when it feels this amazing. Find out where Sun Country's off to in just a minute. Spirit Wings still just sitting over here. Where are they? Spirit hanging out. Alright, so a couple more minutes here. We should have our next few departures. So this Spirit Wing's been sitting there for a long time. Thank you, Freebird111. Greatly appreciate your $10 super chat. Thank you so much for that one. Greatly, again, appreciate that. Again, good evening, everybody. Once again, got a heavy, and then we have our family on that Iceland flight. We've got the American 777. Again, we're going to end the night with the A300 off to Louisville, Kentucky. That UPS flight off to Louisville. Turn that brightness down just a little bit. Thank you so much, Freebird111. Glad you're enjoying the show. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, and thank you for the generous donations. So again, I'm keeping an eye on our London flight as well as the Reykjavik flight as they get close to time for their departure. 8:30 is their estimated departure. I don't have any word from the family whether or not they've boarded or not yet, but I'm sure they have. And of course, we've got a diversion Iceland on the inbound. This might actually be it. I don't know if it is yet or not. Hold on. I don't have flight radar open anymore. No, Aero Mexico 584 coming in from Cancun, Mexico. I was not expecting this one tonight. The last few Wednesdays, Aero Mexico has been coming in early. This 737 from Cancun, Mexico. So good to see this one. Feel free to spam the chat with the new Aero Mexico tail emoji there for our members. And again, if you guys were gifted a membership tonight, you do have access to those emojis. If you so choose to pop in the chat and say hello, represent your favorite airline or any one of the airlines here. Again, Aero Mexico from Cancun. Is it a MAX tonight? Last Wednesday, or was that Sunday? No, again, it's not a MAX. Whoops, for the second week in a row. I love this tail at night. We should get a nice close-up of this one. They should come around here to C24 in just a few minutes. So we'll see them in a minute. We've got a Southwest on the way out. On the way in, we've got American Airlines 1194 from Philadelphia, an A319, traveling 1 hour and 5 minutes. Let's see, Aero Mexico, they were traveling 2 hours 54. We've also got United 488 coming in from SFO 737-900ER. Hey, we do have a Breeze Airways. Breeze coming in from Pittsburgh, Moxie 221. So again, we'll see that Aeromexico in just a moment. There's bad weather in Bewee. Interesting. Again, I didn't check the weather. All I know is the weather here was absolutely perfect. Feels great this evening. Could not ask for better weather this evening, honestly. So here comes that A319 from Philadelphia. Can't do that with those lights pointed right at us. 297 likes, 3 away from 300. Make sure y'all smash the like button if y'all haven't. Again? Thank you all very much. 302 likes. Perfect for a Wednesday evening. And another one. I know they're busy tonight. Interesting. So if we've got some planes in holding, there might be some diversions here later. So maybe we'll have some diversion action a little later. It's amazing how bright that camera can make that. Did you guys see the transition between the blue and the white on camera, but in person I can't see that. So hard for me to see that. All right, we again, our 2 final international departures. We're still waiting for American and Iceland. So if we've got some, oh, here we go again. Is this the same one? Hey, they're busy tonight. This one. Yes, there they go. They're going to continue on around there. Here comes Breeze Airways from Pittsburgh. Iceland's number 2 to land. Perfect. Nice smooth touchdown for Moxie. Some text message app action starting to board right now for the family. So I'm going to call it probably about 9 o'clock before that, before we have them push back. It'll probably be about 10 minutes before 9. Usually is. Still no word on that other 777 over there. It's not moving yet. Lights are on. No beacons, no nothing, no tail lights. Who knows? They could have left that APU running most of the day. Okay, we're still waiting on our London departure, as well as that Iceland departure, and of course we've got that Iceland diversion coming up next, just behind the tower. I know, I can't believe we've had, what is that? I don't know if that's the second ambulance of the night. Could have been the, or I can't say it was the third. It could have been the same one, just got called to a different emergency, just come around from one terminal to the other. Nobody headed to the hospital. I do wonder about that one that left earlier, if that one was a medical emergency. So again, this Iceland is supposed to be headed to Baltimore, but making its way in here is a diversion due to, I believe, weather in the other side. They're in Baltimore. Hold on. Again, this one is supposed to be going to Baltimore, 737 from Iceland. Yeah, it could be a lease from somebody. Could have been a former plane. You can look up the reg number. I'd be interested to know. There again, it is the Iceland from Reykjavik. We'll find out if they go to a gate or they just sit and wait. What they decide to do here. Lots of hail and wind. Interesting. And I'm really surprised that we haven't gotten any of that weather there or here. I know we're in a pretty significant burn ban issue right now. The entire state of North Carolina and South Carolina in a burn ban. I know a lot of. I was looking at the advertisement for the race in Rockingham this weekend. They're talking about you were unable to have campfires and such this weekend at the race, due to all of the burn bans. Man, who you tell? We do. We really need some rain. It's pretty significant, the amount. And I think we're in a pretty big deficit so far this year as far as rain goes. So definitely need it. Again, this year's definitely not nowhere near as rainy as last year was at this time. Up next, we've got Endeavour 5322 coming in from Washington, D.C. via Reagan. Going to be a CRJ 900LR. What's up, Ryan? So looking like our 777's a little on the delayed side. It said estimated 8:30. I imagine that one will be closer to 8:50, 9 o'clock as well. Still with this Spirit Airlines. How long has this Spirit been sitting here? Anybody run a clock on this thing? I'd say at least an hour. For the poor old Spirit wings, supposed to be headed back to Newark. But I think, obviously, if there's a lot of weather in the Northeast, that one here will be here for quite some time. 8 to 10 inch deficit. I don't doubt it. To watch Cletus on the weekends, getting away from all the beach traffic. See, we're headed to the beach traffic. So we're headed right down your way this weekend. You're going to come over kind of our way. Rockingham's about an hour and a half from here, 2 hours from here, something like that. Got a system out in Winston-Salem. Again, I don't, the weather looks great for the weekend there in where we're going to, at the beach. So I'm not too worried about the weather. By the way, our Alexa was kind of dumb. Ooh, hello, hello, hello. Speaking of weather, let's head over here, shall we? As we wait. You know, I like to bring you guys all things Mother Nature as well as all things aviation. Got some lightning off in the distance to the west. This is the first lightning I've seen this year so far. I've heard one or two rumbles of thunder early one morning, but you can see the lightning rolling in those clouds back there. This is one of the real reasons that this is one of my favorite times of the year, is watching the storms roll across to the west of the airport. One of the best times I ever had was up in DC around 4th of July, not last year, but the year before, or a couple years before. I went up there before we started doing the live shows, watching those. Watching the lightning and the clouds and all the things was just absolutely amazing. I also got hit pretty hard with a storm up there. Caused me to, I was in the center of the parking garage, next floor down, and had to retreat to my car because the wind and the rain was getting kind of feisty. So now we've had the moon, we've had emergency vehicles, we've had airplanes, and now we have a weather system off to the west. Hopefully you can see that lightning. It's not a whole lot of it, but I've seen a couple of little blinks of it. Delta Girl, good evening. There in Atlanta. I know a lot of folks will be in Atlanta this weekend for sure for the AvCon there in Atlanta. I know, really full show this evening. Really full show. So again, like I said, we've got a few minutes here. I don't know. It's almost 9 o'clock. Depending on, as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and just check flight radar before I go nuts. Waiting. Let's see if they've been delayed at all. They shouldn't have, unless there's weather elsewhere. Ooh, that was a big flash of lightning. Estimated 8:58 for the American 777. 8:30 was the estimated for Iceland, but I'm going to say that is probably going to be closer to 9 o'clock. Again, our last plane of the night is going to be the A300 UPS off to Louisville, Kentucky. So again, 8:58 is the estimated for the London departure. No arrivals for the next little while. Next closest arrival is going to be Southwest from Chicago Midway. So we're just patiently waiting out our last two international flights of the evening. So they should divert here. I don't know how long they'll stay out there in a holding pattern. Could be quite a while. It could be not so long. It'll just depend on how much fuel they have and whether or not they want to divert somewhere and buy more fuel, I guess. So we'll see if we get those diversions. Again, strong weather in the Northeast, but we did have that one United Express leave off and head to Newark, New Jersey. We also had the United 739 head off to Dulles tonight, so interesting that Spirit Airlines is being held here So, I don't know. So a good look at the lightning off in the distance. So come back to the airport here. Now the family did say they were boarding their flight, so it shouldn't be too much longer before their departure. Again, you see the 777 still out there. We have that other one sitting on the hard stand. Don't think that one's going to leave this evening. There's a chance that it might, but I doubt it. As I speak, there's movement over there. Hold on, let's swing over to the other 777, shall we? What the heck was that? That almost looked like a tow truck backing up to it. Blast these trees. Trees are beautiful and all, but they're blocking my view. The APU is running on that 777, so. Again, that one possibly headed off to Charlotte later this evening or tomorrow morning. I don't have any sort of official word or anything on that. Ooh, that was a good lightning flash. Looks like we got a Delta headed this way for departure. Was it the fire truck? Maybe it was. Yeah, they'll sit over there on a taxiway until it's time to go back to Baltimore or head back to Baltimore. In South End or North End, I don't know exactly where it's at. I think I have to look. Something Enclave. It's right on the beach. I'm gonna be down there for 3 days. I didn't set any of this up, so. I asked Miss Carolina if she wanted to stop by Buc-ee's last night. Thank you, Matt, man, for stopping in. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and a wonderful rest of the week. Again, no show, by the way, on Sunday, given I'll be out of town. You guys can always, again, make sure your notifications are on, just in case I get a wild hair and decide to go live somewhere. But I don't know. I don't know if we're going to take any of the equipment either. I've yet to decide. Miss Carolina wants us to take the equipment and try to get some something down there. Myrtle Beach. Hey, here we go. Iceland pushing back. So for any of the family that's watching the show, if anybody is watching the show, Iceland pushing back, finally getting ready to head to Reykjavik. Whoa, where are you going? They never put Delta over there. Interesting that they're going to take Delta and put it over on the hard stand. And how much time do we have before? Got another 2 minutes. We'll find out about the American 777 to London. Almost feels like beach weather out here, as breezy as it is. It's a very breezy evening. So we figured it out. If we stopped at Buc-ee's on the way down to the beach, it only adds about a half hour, 2-hour journey. So I don't know if we'll do it yet. We haven't decided. Maybe on the way home Sunday evening. I don't know. Depends on how tuckered out we are from being at the beach all day with the chitlins or for 2 days. But I'm ready for them to open the one in Mebane. I know they've still got about another 2 years for that one to be open, but I'm ready for the one in Mebane. Lightning's firing off a whole lot quicker now. Somebody's getting a good little storm off to the west. All right, 777. Oh, excuse me. It is time to shine. Come on. So we're going to be looking for a flashlight on the left side of Iceland tonight as they go up. We won't see them as they taxi out. They are on the left side of the plane as far as I know. But we will see them on the other side. What are you doing? Yeah, I saw that it's 54 miles. Oh, it's only 54 miles from the beach, or shortcut through. So that's what I was thinking about doing. Headed down there like 2 Buc-ee's and then just coming straight across to the beach. But again, we haven't decided yet on what we're gonna do. Hey, Connie. Good evening. Absolutely no worries. Thank you all for tuning in. Especially thank you all for lurking. Yeah, we're gonna try to enjoy the beach as much as possible. Again, I didn't partake in any of the planning of this. It's a big family deal. We don't normally go away for Easter, but this year we are definitely doing it. So let's see, we're waiting on Iceland. Still no movement out of American. Looks like we might have a wing walker out there though. So they may start their push in just a minute.
supposed to look like the last, what they call it, the back fire truck. Yeah. Well, the fire truck's better. One of the two. See it? You know what was coming. You probably, yeah, because they said it. Sooner or later, inside the truck, you would have had it backwards. Yeah.
You guys catch the engine glow there from the LR? Again, I've got family on board this one. They're going to shine their flashlight. Don't know exactly where they're sitting. It's F something or other. Check out the engine glow. There you go. The engine's glowing in the dark. It's always the Airbus A321s. We saw that quite a bit in Charlotte last month. Huh? Yeah. I know, and somebody was like, "Oh, look at ATC at RD, or not ATC. Look at TSA at RDU," and it didn't say anything about that threat and them kicking everybody out. They made it seem like, oh, this is because it's so busy. It's like 6 a.m. and you kicked everybody out at 4 o'clock. That's a weird time to get a threat. Yeah. Oh my God. That's craziness. Hey, there you go. Still no movement out of that 777. So hopefully they'll turn the cabin lights off to where we'll be able to exactly tell which window they've got the light in. Yeah, they're going to Iceland. Huh? Yeah, they're on the left side. So we'll see the light as they take off. Still no movement out of that 777. Estimated was 8:58. Still waiting on that UPS departure. Got a Southwest coming in from Chicago Midway, but again, we're going to stick with our departure. Yeah, that Spirit sitting right there has been there for over an hour and a half, something like that. Huh? Yeah, he's supposed to be going to Newark, I think. He's been sitting there for a long time. All right, here we go. Hey, I already see the light. You guys see it? Towards the back of the plane. I'm gonna leave the brightness up on this for right now. But I already see the flashlight, and they're all the way down at the end of the runway there. I don't know if I can hold the zoom and zoom right in on the window and be steady enough or not. Yes, out there, window. I believe that's it right there. Yep, there they go. Off to Reykjavik. Enjoy your time over there in Iceland. That was a pretty good shine the light moment. Yeah, it was really bright. Looks like Spirit Airlines finally getting a move on, but we've got that touchdown of Southwest from Chicago Midway. Spirit on the way up the hill. Maybe they're headed to where they're going. Huh? That's not bad. I could handle that.
And I think next week I'll be taking the second.
Oh, when I worked at the casino, I had Friday, Saturday off. Huh? Nah. It's really slow. Oh, that's not a good sign. Spirit back to the gate. Find out if this flight was canceled or maybe the crew timed out again. They've been sitting here close to 2 hours now. Yeah, for an hour and a half, hour and some change flight. See you, Will. Have a good evening. So Spirit Airlines back to the gate. Got the CRJ arrival. Huh? It took me a long time to learn them. Next arrival is going to be United 1989 coming in from Chicago here, 737-800. Travel time an hour and a half. Again, still no word on the triple at the moment. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, it was supposed to leave at 8:50-ish. There's another one over there. It's supposed to go to Charlotte, I guess, tonight or tomorrow. Were they? I figured it had to be something mechanical with it. Oh, is it? It's quite windy out here Monday. Do what? Heck yeah. Shoot, I'd be happy with that. Yeah, it's like us. Got all these driving on the road, yeah. Taking a whole another driving test. Well, that lightning's really cooking now. Got a nice full moon on this side, lightning on this side. Again? Good God. You'd think.
I was two cars back behind. I was coming around the corner. And I was stopped and I heard that. So I hit all my lights and ran around and he almost made it through when he stopped.
I saw a car carrier a couple weeks back. He come around this way and then went down that way and saw the sign, and then he backed up a little bit. It took him forever, and then he went into that parking lot right there because I guess he didn't have access to that parking lot. I guess it's gated, right?
Yeah.
So I guess he had to wait on somebody to come out, let the gate up, and let him go around in that parking lot.
Yeah, the two main ones realized he got extra fences.
Because I was like, I don't know how he's going to back back into the main road right here, because it was busy. It was like middle of the afternoon when he did that.
Yeah, that my truck, they had that pretty much flat front tires. And there's quite a bit of air out of the back tires. To get him able to move, and when he came out of it,
Popped it back up.
that's what it is. Look at the right side. That's something that's got to do this to his whole top. Oh, no, your top's still on.
I know. Stupid. Dang. Yeah. You have no idea how tall you are. You need to kind of need to know that information. I believe that was another American over there. No, a Delta. Boy, they're putting Deltas over there. Wait, there's another one. That one looks like an American A319. I don't know. I'd like to know though. Yeah. A lot of different variables that night, yeah. 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 Wait a minute. Now you can go. Yeah, that was a big miscommunication.
I mean, he couldn't stop. I don't know.
I know they hollered at him to stop, but I guess he didn't get the. Yeah, I guess he was already too far along. for that UPS departure, which it should be pushing back or on the move here shortly. I don't even see, it's not even up on radar either. So I don't know, I may have to call it via time instead of by flight. Triple seven's 30 minutes late now, close to it. Finally, here we go. The American 777 off to London, pushing back. Hopefully the E175 sitting down here in front of us will shut off their engines so we can get a good startup sound off of the American. So finally, as you guys can see, the American 777 on its way. Let me look and see. No UPS as of right now, so I'm assuming that's going to be delayed till about 11 o'clock. So the American 777 will be our last plane of the evening. That JetBlue headed over to the GA ramp over there, by the way. So again, this one here will be our last departure of the night. We got all of our international flights tonight other than Lufthansa and Copa today. Seeing everybody, Aero Mexico, Air France, now Air Canada. So a good evening for plane spotting this evening. A little slow period there for a little while, but all in all, a wonderful evening. Again, the American 777 going to be our last departure of the night. I got to get home and get some rest. Gonna work a half day tomorrow. I got a lot of things to do around the house before I get to head to the beach. So again, make sure you all smash the like button if you guys haven't. I'm gonna give you guys a little like count update. 344 likes tonight. Thank you all for smashing the like button. Let's check on subscriber count here. Gained 30 new subscribers this evening, so thank you all for subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys 100%. So again, working on our last departure here of the night. Enjoy the 777 to London. right, everybody, that is going to do it for the evening of plane spotting. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, no show on Sunday, as I will be at the beach. Thank you to my channel members, moderators. Thank you to everybody who contributed tonight. Greatly appreciate you guys for that. You guys are absolutely welcome. Glad I could be out here and give you guys a show tonight. Pretty good Wednesday evening show. So we're headed off to Myrtle Beach this weekend, Connie. But again, no show this weekend as I'll be at the beach. But again, channel moderators, members, everybody who contributed tonight, congratulations to everybody who got a Carolina Aviation membership this evening. I think we gifted out 17 of those this evening. Again, a huge thank you to everyone. We'll see you again next week. Again, not here this weekend. So make sure your notification bells are set to all, and you guys keep an eye out for us. We'll be back next week. Thank you, everybody. Hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Good night, everybody.
Not enough flight